Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, March 25th. We are looking at the SPY, IWM, Triple Qs, market profiles here on Window Trader. And there's only one thing we can say about sellers. I mean, what this market has done time and time again for the past year is just add fuel to the fire that any pullback whatsoever, you need to buy it. The Russell is such a great example. We'll go over the Russell in a minute. But right now, sellers have to feel like because it's one thing to get to a very visual level and hold it, and another thing to rally $10 off it? No, make that $11.50 off it in the Russell. For us, we rallied $6.65. We couldn't get one more penny to have 666 range today. Let's start with the Triple Qs. Triple Qs couldn't get out of their own way today. We all gapped lower today. Nobody held the gap, obviously. Triple Qs gapped lower. They filled it right away. In fact, they filled their gap faster than any of us did. But they didn't get much out of it after that for the whole day. They went higher in B, never got to their price probe, to L's low, and then spent the whole day pushing down, attempting to come up. Only late in the day did they make a half-hearted effort to get the day's high. They didn't get it. They end up going 9 wide, afternoon pullback in J. Now the Russell. We said the other day, if we get acceptance below 217.67, the next destination is 207.21. We got down to 208.03. Now that's not exactly 207.21, but it's certainly close enough to get to a bottom of a balance like they did on a weekly. And then from that point, they rallied. They got in M period, believe it or not, 217.52. So we almost hit our destination if you took a swing trade at the lows, and we got right back up to that weekly low where it all started from by 15 cents and pulled off $1 right away. Fascinating. And they take back all the price probe, 3 sets of single prints from yesterday, and go out with a trend day up today, having singles in E and L. Very impressive, but again, we'll have to see what happens tomorrow at that weekly low again now. Now, SPY and ES, we gap lower. We finally filled the gap in F. Now, I know a lot of people in ES use N, so they filled theirs earlier. SPY didn't fill their gap until F period when we got M. We started trading the price probe, got a pullback pretty good, and then absolutely went trend. 2 sets of single prints in K and L and a price probe. SPY and IWM go out with price probes to the upside after 2 days in a row of price probes to the downside for all 3 indices. I had a good day, but let me tell you, this was not an easy day by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, it was a very, very difficult day to trade. There was tremendous chop. There was tremendous indecision. So if you didn't do well, just get back on it tomorrow. Trade smaller. Definitely use stops because this market was all over the place today. We're at 109 million already, so very good volume today. As far as my trades, I had to change my thought process throughout the day because MGI was telling me that. I took nothing but shorts. Took a short in B period. I didn't do anything in A. Did not do anything in A. I took a short in B period against the gap and against basically yesterday, the low, 388 puts. They paid off as it came in, and then C started coming back in. I took shorts in C. When we got back up to the overnight low, 387 puts, I took shorts in C. When we took out A's low, 386 puts, and they all worked out, and I was scalping them left and right. Every push up was met with it. I shorted it, pushed down, got out of it. I did it at least 2 times in C, 3 times in C. In D period, we had singles. Did the same thing. Now, ES went out with a poor low. I'm in 8 tick, whatever I'm in. I'm in 8 tick increments. I do not have a poor low in SPY. I know ES does. So each push up I did with a short. When they filled the singles, I actually continued to do it. It came back in, finally took them off. I'm like, this isn't getting as much as it should. And that's when the short game started to change. So I took I took 7 shorts between B and D and did well on all of them. And then my next trade wasn't until G. As soon as E took out D's high, I'm like, well, now whoever's short's going to start covering. And they did. Didn't know how much they wanted to do. We still had the gap. So I did nothing in E, did nothing in F. Finally took a long in G. 386 calls. When we had single prints in F. Those worked out. I got out of them. And then the single prints, I got long again in H. And I totally forgot about the bond auction. Every push up, I was selling them. Every push down, I got long. Well, H came down, took out G's low. I didn't realize, I totally forgot about it. I had 40 calls at that time, which is, I added 30 when it came down. When it ripped back up, I got fortunate to get out of them, actually in the money, held on to the 10. I was like, well, we stopped one time framing down. The algos are a little agitated. I took the 10 off, put it to bed, but I did okay on it. Now, I took out H's low. Came back up, started a short position. I'm like, okay, now maybe we're going to get some weak longs to flush. It was tedious at best. I was short through I was short through J. I had 390s originally in I. It came back, when it went up, I put them on. I added to them at I's high. I was like, I was a little frustrated. I'm like, I was out of the money, but they came back in. And I did okay on them. And then in J, I took the 389s. When we took out I's low, I was looking to get E's high, A's high, and then looking for, at the time, possibly the opening. Wasn't getting it. Made money on all of them. I literally took the last 5 off, stepped out of the room when K opened, and it exploded. I missed it. It happened within 30 seconds. Blew out above J's high. So I got fortunate. I got out of those. And then the only other trade I did was scalp longs in L period. Every time L pushed back, once we got the price probe, pushed back, I took a long, back up, I took it off, did that a couple of times. So I ended up having a good day, but it was a very, very difficult day. We took back the price probe. We took back the single prints we had. We took back the price spike where change took place. Okay, destinations for tomorrow. Upside, today's high, 390.55. Then I'm using, again, the way I use K's high, which was very visual from the 23rd. I'm using J's high, which was very visual from the 24th, even though it's only an 8-wide POC of 391.42. Then we don't have anything to afternoon rally high from the 24th. G's high of 392.31 and then 392.75. Yesterday's high. And then 393.46 daily high. Did I say today's high? Well, today's high is obviously our first upside destination, 390.55. Not sure if I said it. For the downside, we probed L's high, 389.69. Then we have 2 sets of single prints. 389.27 get filled to 388.98. And then the second set, 388.82. L's low get filled at H's high at 73. And then we have the afternoon pullback low. J's low, 386.60. And today's low, which would be a weekly low if we don't get it tomorrow, of 383.90. And then on the charts, I'm going to show you Russell because I think it's fascinating, the weekly. I mean, you talk about a swing trade. We looked above the previous all-time high, came back into it. This week we took out last week's low, which put us into balance. I said if we get any acceptance below 217.67, we'll see the 207.21 level. Okay? We didn't get quite to it. We got to 208.03. We got to within 74 cents of it. Held. We're in a 4-week balance now. Now, did I expect it to go all the way back up to this previous week's low? No. But we did. We got up to it and got rejected by $1 on the close. So it'll be interesting tomorrow. For now, it's firmly a 4-week balance. Daily is still down. And then in the SPY, we're one time framing up on the monthly still. Weekly, balance. 3-week balance. We didn't get to 381.42. We got pretty close. 383.90. We got to within $1.50. Held it for now. 3-week balance. And the daily, down. So unless we take out today's high, the daily will still be down. We got below the 50-day moving average by a good $2 today. But one day doesn't make a market. And we popped right back above to close above it by almost $3.50. So remains to be seen what happens tomorrow. Wild days, again, you get really good education in this trading room with all 3 profiles streaming all day, getting play-by-play, getting trade ideas and keeping people out of trouble, not just by me, but by the entire traders in our community. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.